All right, let's put some finish on the container floors today. Here's what it looks like after the first coat, and coming up here is what it looks like when I bought it. So this is no prep work right here. I did get one with wooden floors in it. We're going to take the wire wheel and knock down the high spots, any rough places. So my cooler there is what holds my phone while I'm recording. This metal plate is where this is the truck end of when it goes on a trailer for going on the interstate or driving down the road, as far as I know. Maybe where the forklift picks it up, but I don't know how a forklift could pick one up that long. I'm not real sure what this metal plate is. But clean it up here a little bit, then we'll check all the wood, put the finish and stain on, and I'll show you that process. All right, so that didn't take too long. Floors were in pretty good shape. Let's get the leaf blower out and blow all the dust out next. And while I was leaf blowing, I found a few spots that I wanted to wire brush a little bit more, so that's what I'm doing here. And let's get the vacuum cleaner out now and vacuum out all the little cracks and crannies. And you can't really see, but here I've got a Lowe's bucket in my mop, and I'm going to mop the floor. It dried very quickly. It was a nice hot day. But mop the floor a couple of times next. All right, now that the floor is dry, let's put some stain on the floor. I got my stain at Lowe's, took 2 pints to do the floor, and I have a picture of the can here somewhere. The stain really made a beautiful difference in the floor. Really happy with it. So right here you see me sprinkling mica on top of the stain right before it dries, and I went through many trials on the the mica that I wanted, because I wanted a little sparkle in the floor but not too much. I have a video of all that trials and stuff that I went through of figuring out which mica I wanted. Ended up getting it Hobby Lobby. And right here is a gouge in the floor from a forklift. And so I'm staining the floor first, and then I'm going to epoxy that gouge and a couple of other ones. And there's some footage of that coming up down the road here. So my floor stain is Red Mahogany by Polyurethane. Got it at Lowe's. Did the whole floor with 1 quart. That's not right. It took 2 quarts. That's not right either. It took 2 pints. So I guess it actually took 1 quart like I originally said.
And here I am sprinkling the mica on again. I just did it in sections as I went along. Worked out okay. This is the epoxy that I filled the gouges from the forklift that were in the floor with. You could do the whole floor in this, but too expensive. Plus, you're still gonna have a gouged up floor. So it's from foam wood. It's called Glaze Coat. I got one box of 1 quart. Make sure you follow the directions on this. It's very important. So you can get your air bubbles out, get a good mix, and a quick dry. I got the high gloss, crystal clear. There's another one that's amber, and I didn't want the amber because I thought it would stand out since I wasn't doing the whole floor. This went really well. 1 quart did the whole project. Okay, so for the floor finish in the container, I ordered all these 5-gram sample bags of mica off Amazon. It's $17. And I really like them, but I wanted to do a sample, so I took polyurethane and I put each of the mica blobs out here. And then I put polyurethane on it and I just let it run down through there, which I really liked it until I put the polyurethane on it, and it looks like melted crayon. There's no mica glitter to it. White's the worst, looks like bird poop. And then for fun, I modeled them all together, which blue took over that. So the mica powder, I don't care for because it just looks like melted crayons. So then I got mica flakes at Hobby Lobby, and I got copper and bronze. And so I put copper on this side and bronze on that side, and then I just put the poly on top and let it run down through there. So this is copper, this is bronze and copper mix, and that's bronze. So I really like those. And that was my little bench test to decide what I wanted, and I decided to go with the mix. And here you can see how the mica turned out. So coming across, it is copper, mahogany, battleship gray, that is orange, then white, and then something sunset is this one, and blue, and then pink, and then Caribbean blue, I think is that one. And this one was blue green, and I did like the blue green, but it just didn't have any sparkle to it. And here's the copper gold mix and gold. So after I did that and decided what I wanted to use, I went and got my stain, and I stained a board. And then on the top half of the board here I stained it and then put the copper and gold mica on top of the stain. And then down below here, below my thumb, I mixed the copper and gold mica in the stain and applied it the same amount. And so, see if I can get some sunshine on this. So you can see the afterward turned out a whole lot better than mixing it in the same amounts afterward. I'm sorry, that is that is mixing it with the stain. And this is applying it after the stain was on the board. So, focus. Anyhow, so I stained the floors today, and that's how we did it. Oh, and the 2 containers of copper and bronze mica flakes that I bought cost $3.49 each at Hobby Lobby, and it's just a little bitty bottle the size of a spice shaker. It's more than enough. That's my flowers. All right, my floor polyurethane is water-based by Parks, and I got crystal clear satin, which if I had it to do over, I would have gotten high gloss, because I don't really care for the satin finish. Also, I would not have gotten water-based, because if I even mop my floor, it makes the floor soft, and each time I do it, I notice it gets a little more cloudy. So far, my research says I cannot put the shellac variety over top of water-based, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I do know when I finish up and I put one more coat on, it's going to be high gloss, not clear satin. All right here, you can see me mopping the roof, the ceiling of the shipping container. And if you look in the back, you can see some propane tanks sitting back there. This is my second coat I'm getting ready to put on. When I did the first coat, I set my propane tank up on the metal part of the floor, left it running all night long, thought it would help it dry. Well, come to find out, propane has a lot of moisture in it, and that moisture kept my floors from drying. It took forever for the floors to dry. It was quite the learning curve. I didn't know that propane did that. Okay, so the poly is down. That jug should have done the floor twice. I used 2/3 of the jug. I think it's because there's, big cracks like that right there. Plus I put it heavy along the crack along the edge. And then there's this crack right here. Some of it started to dry, so you can see there's some back there. So the little holes have it in that, so I'm not surprised. If I were to have done it over, I probably would have dampened the floor first, because I had a lot of trouble. Well, not a lot of trouble, but I had to pay special attention to areas like this where there's a crack and then it transitions to the epoxy right there. And like all this is just crack. So I ended up using the squirt bottle on the cracks and down the seams. That worked out real well. And hopefully, if you can see it, you can see where I've started and stopped, and there's a little puddle right there. And there's not a puddle, but you can see where the applicator overlapped. You can see it right back there where the seam is. From looking all the way back, it looks like it's going to smooth out. Time will tell, but when it's all said and done, it is a shipping container floor with forklift marks on it, and it will be okay. So we'll see how it turns out. This should dry. 2 hours is what it says. If I had applied it probably a little bit thinner. It's currently 64 and tonight degrees, and tonight it is supposed to get only down to 60, which is why I chose today, and it is Sunday, so about noon. So we'll see how it turns out. Hopefully it'll be awesome. Who are we kidding? It's already awesome. Here's some footage of me putting the poly on with a squirt bottle. It's just a condiment squirt bottle that I got at, I think I got it out of my kitchen cabinet, to be honest. I just poured the poly in it and squirted it in the holes and all the cracks. And then I used the applicator to smooth it all out and put it on. and then put 2 coats of poly on. Here's what it looks like after putting on with a squirt bottle. And now I'm going to take the applicator and smooth it all out right here. And I just pulled everything one direction nice and slow. I did put poly on my applicator first so that it was already saturated with the polyurethane. But this went pretty smooth, just took a little time. Looks really good glossy like that. It didn't dry that glossy. So this is the second coat. And so the little areas like right there and there, and that is where a board starts and stops. And then all the little white dots are the screw heads that are full of the water-based poly. The first coat I did, I was more careful not to leave areas like this, and that especially, and that one right there especially. But you know, there were some spots where it was in the creases like this, and it leveled out on its own and looked good. And like where the cracks were, I got poly all over my finger. That's gross. So where the cracks were like that, it all leveled out super nice. So I have confidence it will all level out. And then I've been having a moisture problem, so I went and bought 2 boxes of dry decks, tubs. One is there, and one is right there, all the way on the other end, hanging off ropes because the ceiling is getting wet and dripping onto the floor. And I'm sure in the other videos you can see where I've been mopping the ceiling before I start doing stuff because of condensation. And I'm not sure why it's so heavy. It's been cool night, so the dew point must be the issue. All right, we'll come back and see what it looks like when it's dry. Take some more pictures. My paint that I painted the metal section on my floor with was Rust-Oleum hammered copper. And it turned out real well. Got that at Lowe's. You can get several different colors and stuff of this. Like the hammered copper seemed to go the best. But I sprayed it like this. And when I finished, you could see the lines in it. So I recommend you spray it all random, like figure eights and X's and O's, and work your way back that way. Get a lot better finish. If it gets redone, it'll be redone in the same color, but we'll see towards the end of the project. I'm not dissatisfied with it at all, but I would rather it all look like that, but instead, a lot of it looks like this. That's just so much prettier. But do a random spray all over the place, you'll get more of that. All right, thanks for watching. Have a good day.